We start today's episode of Up South with some good news coming out of Iraq. In another 12 and a half hours, 46 Indian nurses will land at the Kochi International Airport, freed by the ISIS militants. A special Air India flight is on its way from Delhi to Erbil as I speak to get those nurses back home to India. In fact, the Ministry of External Affairs and the Kerala government must be heaving a huge sigh of relief at this turn of positive events.
At last, the 46 nurses abducted from Tikrit in strife-torn Iraq are set to return home. Their horror began when they were forcibly moved by ISIS militants from Tikrit to the Iraqi city of Mosul. After a night in captivity, a breakthrough. ISIS militants set them free, handed them over to Indian mediators. A special aircraft has been flown in to bring them back to Kochi from Erbil in Kurdistan.
They are all safe, but they want to come back at the earliest. So the government of India and the Indian embassy in Baghdad and the state government all are worked together, and finally we are achieving the great aim to bring back to India.
Those Indian nurses who were yesterday moved against their will are now free. They are in touch with our embassy officials who are positioned in Erbil for just this eventuality. We had envisaged this earlier and therefore had sent our officials from Baghdad to Erbil.
A glimmer of hope appeared for their relatives after one of the nurses sent a text message to her family members in Kerala.
What was the situation of Marina and the other nurses in Mosul when they were staying there in the night? How was the room conditions? What did she tell you when she called you?
Room condition is very bad. They got beds only. Air conditioning facilities is there, but no light. And the other facilities very bad.
The release of Indian nurses comes as a big relief. But with ISIS's steadily expanding influence in Iraq and another group of 39 Indian workers still in its captivity, the crisis for India in Iraq is far from over. With Rohini Swami in Kottayam, Kerala, Bureau Report, Headlines Today.
Joining me live from Kottayam is my colleague Rohini Swami. Rohini, a huge victory there for back-channel diplomacy by the Ministry of External Affairs, and of course the parents of those Indian nurses must be extremely relieved.
Absolutely. A lot of back-channel talks have happened between the Indian government, the Iraqi government, and what we also know is the Iraqi government with the ISIS. But finally it has borne fruit, and that now we know that the 46 Indian nurses are free. They are now in Erbil. They will be very shortly being taken to the airport. They were transported by a bus from Mosul to Erbil. There were a number of checkposts that they had to go through. Finally, they were left at a building where all of them alighted from the bus and were kept there, after which they got in touch with the Indian officials, and they're waiting for the Indian officials to contact them and be in touch with them. And once they get them there, finally you can say they've been handed over to the Indian officials. I'm here joined by Shruti. Shruti's family members. Yes, Shruti is also one of those nurses who is coming on the flight, who will be returning to India. I'm joined by Shruti's sister. What did Shruti tell you when she contacted you? What was the situation? Where were they kept?
She called me today and said that they have been taken Mosul to Erbil. Now they are in a building waiting for the Indian officials to come and to lift them in a special aircraft.
But also one quick question I need to ask you is the situation. Obviously, you are very, very happy at this point of time, but you'll have gone through absolute mental trauma for 3.5 weeks.
Yes, we were very scared. We were very upset. We did not reach anything. We were very, very scared. But now we're happy.
ആന്റി ഫൈനലി ആന്റി ആശ്വാസം വന്നു ആന്റി ശ്രുതി ഇപ്പോ വീട്ടിലോട്ട് തിരിച്ചു വരും ഇറാഖിൽ നിന്ന് സുരക്ഷിതമായിട്ട് തിരിച്ചു വരും
തീർച്ചയായിട്ടും ഞങ്ങൾ ഇത്രയും ദിവസം ഒരുപാട് വിഷമത്തിലായിരുന്നു ഇപ്പം ബഹുമാനപ്പെട്ട കേരള മുഖ്യമന്ത്രിയുടെ പ്രവർത്തനം കൊണ്ടാണെന്ന് എനിക്ക് പൂർണ്ണ വിശ്വാസമുണ്ട് എല്ലാ മന്ത്രാലയം എല്ലാം ഉണർന്ന് പ്രവർത്തിച്ച് ഞങ്ങളുടെ കുട്ടികളെ സുരക്ഷിതമായി ഞങ്ങളുടെ നാട്ടിൽ നാളെ എത്തിക്കും ഇതിനേക്കാൾ സന്തോഷം വേറെ ജീവിതത്തിൽ ഇനി വേറെ ഒന്നും വരാനില്ല
See, this is the first smile that I'm seeing amongst the family members today. When I've been meeting the nurses' families, they are now relieved. They know that their daughters are in safe hands. And as Shruti's mother has been saying, they are thanking the central government and the Kerala state government for their efforts to finally being able to bring them back safely. But they say, once they have finished, when they speak to me and during their interviews, is that when they hold them and they hug them, they'll finally say that their daughters are back home safe.
Absolutely, Rohini. Those scenes tomorrow at the Kochi International Airport will be something to cherish and look forward to definitely. Thanks a lot, Rohini, for joining us there from Kottayam. Now, 6 days after the building collapse in Chennai, the rescue operations have finally come to an end. The NDRF team told Headlines today that they could have perhaps saved more lives if only they had reached that spot early. In fact, they have declared that there are no more persons trapped under the debris.
One of the biggest tragedies in Tamil Nadu in the recent times. It's time to wind up as the rescue operations have been declared over.
Rescue work has ended 6 days after the building collapse here in Maulivakkam. 61 persons have died in this tragedy and 27 injured. At least 7 bodies are unidentified. They are lying at the mortuary. NDRF has declared that no more persons are trapped amidst these debris. But you can look at this place. All that is left are the debris. And also soon the other building, the tower, the adjoining tower is also likely to be pulled down. That is what our sources are saying. At least 1,000 personnel from various departments, including NDRF, were involved in the rescue operations. It started on Saturday evening soon after the collapse. Now, the wait is on for the report to be submitted by the inquiry commission appointed by the Tamil Nadu government.
The NDRF commandant has said more lives could have been saved if there wasn't a delay of 3 hours.
Had we been here 3 hours earlier, we could have saved many more lives. The second challenge was there was nobody here to tell us about the building layout, the plan, how many workers were inside, what kind of occupancy was inside, how many floors the people were working in, and all those kind of activities which are going at the time of collapse inside the building. Nobody was here to tell us. So we had to depend on our physical search and technical search, and that is how we done it.
Meanwhile, those injured are still undergoing treatment at a private hospital. With Priyamvata in Chennai, Bureau Report, Headlines Today.
Welcome back. You're with Up South. Now, the new academic session has started, but here is the shocker. 15,000 students from 118 schools in Hyderabad find themselves out of school because their schools have been declared unrecognized and illegal by the district administration. Here is a HT investigation by Pratibha Raman.
Sneha, a homemaker who recently moved into Vijayanagar colony in Hyderabad, was happy she found a school in her immediate neighborhood for her 3-year-old daughter. But just 10 days into the academic session, she was told the school is shut because it is not recognized. The school has students from play school till class 5.
आपको क्या रीज़न बताया?
वही वो डी ऑफिस से परमिशन ले रही थे। अच्छा। क्लोज्ड वो इशू वजह से क्लोज हो गया। विचार करने पर अनन्य अलंकार का
With 118 schools in Hyderabad identified as unrecognized by the district administration, 15,000 students find themselves out of school.
So we have established last year on this round. So it will will take, madam, 1 year, 1.5 year time. It will take to complete the process. So those branches which are unrecognized, they have sealed it. They are closed.
The administration had in December 2013 identified 400 out of 2,000 odd schools in the city as unrecognized, a shocking 1 in every 5 schools. But the notices had the desired effect, and some corrective measures were put in place by March. 118 schools that have ignored the directive have now been shut down.
As per government guidelines, any school must make sure there is enough space for classrooms, make sure they maintain the correct student-teacher ratio, make sure there is a playground as well as trained teachers, ensure children's security as well as fire safety. But many of these schools are run in narrow lanes, in small shelters where the rule book is often flouted at will. And parents get carried by fancy-sounding names for schools without realizing that recognition is necessary for any school that teaches from class 1.
Anybody has to start school right from LKG also. They have to take permission under the relevant act. So we have AP Educational Institution Act. So everybody has to take permission. Then only they can start an educational institution.
प्लेग्राउंड ऐसा कुछ नहीं है नहीं?
ऊपर है, पूरा सिर्फ ऊपर है.
आज बंद है क्यों?
हाँ बोले ना अभी गवर्नमेंट वाला सील डालती है. सैटरडे आए, सैटरडे आके तो क्या कुछ फाइन गिन नहीं बना है, इसके लिए ताला डाल के आया है.
This school has been in existence for the last 10 years in this 3-bedroom house and continues to function despite a notice issued to it. Another school in the sealed list claims it is an international school and will conform only to international standards, not Hyderabad standards.
And ours is an international school. We are affiliated to Excel Board in London. We have nothing to do with our state.
Last month, Education Department officials in Vijayawada staged demonstrations outside unrecognized schools in a bid to caution parents against admitting their children in such schools. While the clean-up drive is commendable, the authorities would have done the parents and the children a favour if they had been given a chance to shift to a legal school. With Pratibha Raman in Hyderabad, Ruchira Sharma, Headlines Today.
That's it then on Up South this Friday evening. News and updates will continue on Headlines Today.